It's important that individuals are provided with the right information to improve their lives. So today on Jamaica Magazine, as on any other day, we're about improving your circumstances. Like what to do if your parents were owners of property and they died without leaving a will. Those answers are inside the program dedicated to your issues. It's also Cancer Awareness Month. We look at prostate cancer. Hi, I'm Adrian Atkinson. It promises to be an informative show. Please stay with us.
Which government organization offers you exceptional customer service? A tax office, police station, hospital, post office, health center or NIS office? Vote for your favorite public sector organization in the Public Sector Customer Service Competition. Call toll-free 1-888-991-2752. Visit cabinet.gov.jm and follow the instructions. Or drop your entry form at government agencies island-wide. Votes close April 30, 2015. Let your voice be heard.
Soon, common law spouses will be able to gain from the estate of a dead partner. That's because the Administrator General's Amendment Bill was passed in the Senate earlier this month. The bill is also expected to assist in clearing the backlog of estate matters at the AG's department. This week on Issues, answers on what the amendments mean for you.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. Too many Jamaicans die without leaving a will, and there are a number of complications with that. But the government is seeking to lessen those complications, and the Senate recently passed the Administrator General's Amendment Bill. That bill is to go to the lower house. The Deputy Administrator General, Mr. Andrew Giles, is here with us today to talk to us about this bill and to put it in its significant context. We thank you so much for your company. Mr. Giles, good to have you on Issues and Answers.
Good day, Mr. Bond. Good day, viewers.
The main features of this bill, Mr. Giles, are what? And why is it that there is this amendment? What will it mean to people? Put it in a context for us.
Well, the main amendments, they're twofold.
Twofold.
One has to do with intestate estates where they're minors, and the other has to do with what we would call older estates at the department, called multi-generational estates.
That's estates where, you know, like from probably a great-grandfather had it and come down now when you reach at the stage.
Right.
You hardly have any documentation because it's so long it has been passed down to you.
Yes.
All right. Multi-generational.
But not officially, not legally passed down, just word of mouth going on, as so often happens, you know, in the country areas and so on.
Yes.
So
these are the two areas.
The main areas.
Yes. So tell us what the changes would mean. Elaborate on this for us.
Well, in regards to the one where there's an intestacy with a minor, it means that the Administrator General, who has a statutory duty to administer these estates, will no longer have to apply to the Supreme Court for a grant of administration.
That's the first thing.
Right.
So we're at a minor is involved.
And
the time that it would take now to go to the court,
make the
application, that time is cut out.
It's cut out totally. The Administrator General will sign what is called an instrument of administration. Once the necessary investigations have been completed regarding the estate, about the assets and the beneficiaries and who they are, and proof of relationship to the deceased. Once those investigations are completed, the Administrator General will sign an instrument of administration, which puts her in charge of the estate as if a grant was made by the court.
Okay.
So, and it has equal status of a grant by the court.
By the court, yes.
And it's so recognized.
Because usually it takes a long time for the court.
It takes a while for the
to make the declaration.
There's so many applications at the court, of course, and it gets backed up a lot of the times.
So this cuts down the time.
In both RM and Supreme Court.
Yes.
Just gets back and forth. It's a volume thing, you know. And that's another aspect that this will help with, because it will reduce the volume
The courts.
in the courts, of
That's right.
applications in the courts.
Freeing up the court's time to pay attention to
do the
critical
others,
matters.
and do the others quicker and pay the critical matters. Right. Exactly.
The multi-generational, what will happen in that case?
Well, the concept behind this is, in the past, prior to becoming an executive agency in 1999, the Administrator General would just take in a multitude of estates. Somebody died, they come to the AG, we took them in, you know, and said, okay, we'll administer the estate, whether they're all adults or no adults. Because of that, we used to take in something like 1,400 applications some
a
time
year?
ago. Right, right.
1,400.
And now we're only doing like 350 to 400, right? Probably at most.
Okay.
And these 350 to 400 are really concerning those estates with minors. So the Administrator General concentrates on intestacies with minors.
With minors,
Right.
yeah. Because minors can start to get proceeds from the estates
Yes.
right away. Before they come of age.
Oh, yes, definitely.
The Administrator General is in charge and they would give out the money.
In charge until they become 18.
Yeah.
And then we hand over whatever balance is in the account to
Yes.
them. But in the meantime, we would be paying, if there's funds in the estate, of course, to pay the school fees and pay
That's right.
help with medical
Expenses.
buy accessories from time to time for the minors. So we are actually parents to the estate during that time, and we work with the guardians or the parents, whoever they may be, the surviving spouse. And
so that this amendment will be significant to those persons whose families have died without making a will, because it means that the minors can start to get money earlier. Can start to get help earlier. So this is a significant development. We're going to take a break at this point, but we'll be back with the Deputy Administrator General, Mr. Andrew Giles, who is telling us about an important piece of legislation which was passed only recently in the Senate and is to be passed in the House of Representatives soon. We take a short break.
Mother taught me how to work for what I want, and if you don't work for it, then you don't deserve it.
They always tell me, be yourself, don't try to be like others.
They help me through tough times, good time, bad time, they're always there for me.
Once the family is good, teach the children the right things, then them can grow up on the right.
Welcome back. The Deputy Administrator General, Mr. Andrew Giles, is explaining the recently passed Administrator General's Amendment Bill in the Senate. It has important implications for many of you whose relatives have died without making a will. And for those of you who are living on property that your great-great-grandfather, your great-great-grandmother had, but you have no papers for it, important legislation is being passed that will have positive implications for you. Mr. Giles, explain the multi-generational property issue. Tell us how big a problem that is, and what this bill will do to rectify that.
The fact is that there are many older estates at the Administrator General's department. What would have happened is prior to 25 years ago, 25 years going back, we would have obtained a grant in an estate. We call it the primary estate. Let us say we got a grant in 1960, right? This would be the primary estate, and we have letters of administration. The estate, for one reason or another, probably reporting from trying to get beneficiaries to ascertain who they were, to ascertain assets for one reason or another. The estate was not settled within a certain time. And what would have happened is one of the beneficiaries of that primary estate, one or more, would have died. And they in turn now, their estates don't have representation. They never got representation. Therefore, the asset of the primary estate cannot be distributed to those to those estates because there's no representation, meaning nobody has a grant or nobody has probate. Right. And then it has it has gone on like that, and perhaps from time to time, even a third generation, maybe in the picture.
Yes.
So the estate is still there at the Administrator General's Department, and the legislation. Remember that the land is also still with the name of the original owner, the primary owner.
Yeah.
And therefore, the other person down the line don't have any title.
Yeah.
They never got their portion, and they therefore probably just living there, going on. Some of them have gone abroad, this kind of thing.
But so they can't use it for mortgage.
No, right.
They can't use it to get a loan to do business. Because the land is productive asset.
Exactly.
Not just that it's somewhere to put a house on.
Exactly.
That land there could be giving them money if they had the title for it.
Yes.
All right.
So the idea of the legislation is to take this multi-generational estate and solve it.
Solve it? Wait, when solve it?
The legislation gives the Administrator General power to distribute the assets of the primary estate to persons down the line once they prove their relationship to the primary owner. Right? And
that could be a significant benefit, you know?
Right, because the persons along the line now would no longer have to go to court to prove, to get representation.
Or they don't have to go to court?
No, not to get the asset from the primary estate.
Yes.
But
you would avoid that
those applications. And remember that because of the what we might call antiquity of the estate, so to speak, it's more difficult for them to start a process, even if they wanted to, because of documents and so.
Documents are not there.
Right. But
so when the Administrator General now has the powers, the Administrator General
can distribute. Instrument of distribution, and people, which will be in the press in the Gazette and the Gleaner.
Yes.
To invite people.
Invite people
to prove
their relation.
To the primary.
So once they prove their relation to the primary demand, the original owner.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They can get
a distribution of whatever portion is due to them.
So a lot of people on land and who are poor today, they are only poor because they don't have the title.
Right.
Once they have the asset clear,
exactly.
Wealthy, they can get loan. They can,
Yes, and it has a number of spin-offs.
Yes,
including the economy in general.
The economy in general,
because there are a number of estates like that. Right, and the legislation will definitely have that effect of increasing value to them and the economy and so on.
Yes. And to the economy also.
Yes.
Because it means now that that will act as a kind of stimulus to the economy. And are there a large proportion or a lot of estates in that position, Mr. Giles? A good number.
Well, it's been said that there are about probably 2,000.
So about 2,000.
So
that's a big number.
Some of the properties are, bigger properties.
Yes. Yes. And of course, lives have been lost because of some of these disputes.
Right. That's the problem we come across fairly. Not that.
I don't mean people die naturally. I mean people be killed.
Dead left.
Yes. Well,
fight over aspects of it.
Literal fight. We thank you very much, Deputy Administrator General Andrew Giles, telling us about the Administrator General's Amendment Bill passed in the Senate a couple of weeks ago and on its way now to the House of Representatives. A very important piece of legislation which will have an impact on the lives of many of our people. We thank you for Staying tuned with us here on JIS and on Issues and Answers. Until next week, Ian Bourne wishing you a pleasant day.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
The Jamaica Cancer Society is spearheading the activities in observation of Cancer Awareness Month observed during April. From its Lady Musgrave Road location, the Cancer Society is still offering a 5% discount on pap smears. And for those persons with a registered health card, you pay only $500. So please visit their offices and get examined. It's best to know before it's too late. Right now, though, we turn our attention to another cancer and arm you with some tips on preventative measures to take.
Prostate cancer is a disease that affects thousands of men worldwide. According to statistics from the World Health Organization, next to heart disease, prostate cancer is the leading cause of death among black men in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and the Caribbean. Each year, some 57 out of every 100,000 Jamaican men are diagnosed with the disease. Despite these alarming trends, research has indicated that a lot of Jamaican men do not fully understand the disease. Let us find out just how much the man on the street knows about prostate cancer.
It is a disease that affects men, mostly in the over the 50 age range, and it's very debilitating and it will kill.
I don't really have no idea, you see me, what is prostate cancer. But right now, if a man get up on here say them have cancer, prostate cancer, I know say, you know, them would have dead before the cancer take them, you see me?
I know that prostate cancer affects most of men in middle age up to senior age, and is a result of maybe a diet, what you drink and all of that, cause it to have that problem.
Something that affects male. Not really much more than that.
Mostly affect men, and especially when they're in their 40s going up. And it's very dangerous because most men die because of prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer is a disease in which cancer develops in the prostate gland, that is, the male reproductive system. The prostate is said to be as small as a walnut. Though small in size, it has two very important functions.
It produces about 20% of the volume of semen, and the semen that is produced by the prostate is important in providing a nutritive role as well as a supporting role for the sperm cells as they travel in the female genital tract. The second function of the prostate is that it contracts and helps to prevent retrograde ejaculation. That is, when a man ejaculates, the prostate closes off or pinches off the communication between the bladder and the urine passage and prevents semen from going back into the bladder.
Medical experts say the precise cause of prostate cancer is not known. Research suggests, however, that a combination of factors may play a role. These include age. Men who are in their 50s are most likely to have the disease. Prostate cancer is rare in men younger than 40. Ethnicity. Black men have a higher risk of getting the disease than any other racial group. Nationality. Prostate cancer is most common in North America, Northwestern Europe, Australia, and the Caribbean. Genetic. Prostate cancer seems to run in some families, which suggests that in some cases there may be an inherited or genetic factor. Having a father or brother with prostate cancer more than doubles a man's risk of developing this disease. Diet. Men who eat a lot of red meat or high-fat dairy products appear to have a slightly higher chance of getting prostate cancer. Consultant urologist Dr. William Aiken says prostate cancer usually does not produce any noticeable symptoms in its early stages. So, in many cases, it is not detected until the cancer has spread beyond the prostate.
Early prostate cancer, when it is still confined to the gland, generally does not cause any symptoms whatsoever. So a man will have prostate cancer, early prostate cancer, and there will be no symptoms whatsoever. There will be no noticeable symptoms. And this is why it is extremely important for men, once they reach the age of 40, to have the test done to detect prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer is without a doubt a very serious disease. Yet, most men in their 40s are reluctant to get themselves tested, not only because they are fearful of being diagnosed with cancer, but because of the stigma that is associated with the test used to diagnose the disease. That is, the digital rectal examination, DRE. Is there any truth to this? Let us find out what the Jamaican men and women have to say.
It kind of emasculate a man, knowing that doctor is gonna protrude in his rectum, and we are in a homophobic state where we don't like to, men don't like to be anybody, especially a male doctor touching the rectum,
Most males don't want to go to the hospital or to the doctor because them say if that is the only way that the doctor can test them for prostate cancer, I'm not going to do it that way.
Some men is that they say the equipment that they use, it burn them or other words hot. But I would advise them to take the test because early tests to it can give them cure.
I think they're afraid of the testing itself, the process. I guess most men are scared for a doctor, a male doctor, to do such a test on them. So I guess maybe they'd rather a female doctor do it, but I guess they won't take the time out to investigate or, to find out what there is to it.
When it comes to the bottom or the anus, they are very sensitive. And they want to take tablets. They're just afraid of medication and afraid they get impotent and their sex drive will lower, and then they believe they won't have enough sperm count. So I think that's the greatest fear.
Dr. Aiken assures that the procedure is quick and quite painless.
What I have discovered over the years, though, is that when men eventually do come for this test and they realize that it is a painless test, it lasts anywhere between 5 and 10 seconds, if done by a urologist who is accustomed to doing it. They very often express they very often say that had they known the test was so quick, so painless, they would have come many years ago to have the test done.
The other test that is done in addition to the digital rectal examination is the prostate-specific antigen PSA test. During this test, a blood sample is drawn from a vein and analyzed for prostate-specific antigen. This is a substance that's naturally produced by a man's prostate gland to help liquefy the semen.
Both of them need to be done because there are a minority of cancers, prostate cancers, where the blood test may be normal, but the rectal exam may be abnormal. So clearly, if you were to do the blood test alone, you would miss those cancers, albeit a small minority. So it is important to do both tests. Erectile function cannot miraculously be excellent after surgery if it wasn't excellent to begin with. In other words, if a man has poor erectile function before surgery or no erectile function, he's not going to have good erectile function after surgery. Now remember, the vast majority of the patients with prostate cancer that we're operating on are in their 60s, perhaps early 70s. A lot of these men have erectile dysfunction to begin with. And having had an operation, erectile function tends to be worsened. But as I said earlier, we do have methods to facilitate the recovery of erectile function. And as I said, usually in an 18-month period, if the nerves are spared, recovery of erectile function will take place.
Prostate cancer may be prevented. Here are a few simple tips that may help you prevent prostate cancer. Eat healthy. Diets have been linked to prostate cancer. Therefore, limiting your intake of high-fat foods and eating more fruits, vegetables, and whole fibers may help you reduce your risk. Foods rich in lycopene, an antioxidant, also may help lower your prostate cancer risk. These foods are said to include raw or cooked tomatoes, tomato products, grapefruit, and watermelon. Garlic and some vegetables such as broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower also may help fight cancer. Vitamin E is also said to be an important element in the fight against prostate cancer, especially among smokers. Exercise regularly. Exercise has been shown to strengthen your immune system, improve circulation, and speed up digestion, all of which may play a role in cancer prevention. If you're over 40, it is also very important to visit your doctor at least once a year to get tested for the disease. Prostate cancer is real. Prostate cancer may be prevented. Get tested today.
Artists, dancers, songwriters, protect your work from copycats and secure your intellectual property. The Intellectual Property Rights Law guards the rights of owners of creative works in the scientific, industrial, literary, artistic, musical, and dramatic fields. It covers several areas. Protect your net worth, protect your legacy, build Jamaica's creative and industrial industry. For more details on protecting your creative expression, contact the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office.
It's World Intellectual Property Day and the theme is Get Up, Stand Up for Music, a line borrowed from Bob Marley's popular song. Intellectual property covers a wide range of creative works under several designations. What this basically means is that songwriters, composers, dancers, singers, writers, and other creative geniuses can earn from what they create beyond any initial payouts once they register the copyright, trademark, geographic indication, patent, or any other legal designation. Children of the creators can also earn for at least up to 50 years after their parents' death, although the law is being changed locally to allow those earnings for up to 95 years. This World Intellectual Property Day, take a stand against piracy and ensure your work is protected. The local authorities, the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, and officers there are ready to assist. Call or visit them at Jampro Building, 18 Trafalgar Road, Kingston 10, 946-1300. Our last advice to you: I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. Words from actor Jimmy Dean. The information continues to flow on our website, jis.gov.jm. You may also follow us on Twitter at JIS News. Our YouTube channel, Watch JIS, has loads of videos and interviews. We'll be back on your favorite TV station tomorrow. Until then, I'm Adrian Atkinson. On behalf of the hardworking team here at the JIS, have yourselves a wonderful Sunday.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.